Today's topic is geo-tracking. We have 4 speakers here. We're starting with Hannes Kruppa from here. It's all about the whole topic today is about how to get positions in various ways and building software accordingly. And I would say thanks to our partners and sponsors today. By the way, drinks for free, thanks to Esri. Yeah. There's, by the way, Lars from Esri, so if you have some question about nice books, whatever, they are here around, just approach it. We will have 4 talks, as said. There will be a break in the middle, so each talk will last in the Q&A session roughly half an hour, so I think we will 8:15 around, a little break, and then we go on with the other 2 topics. Okay, so I would say that each speaker, please let them finish. We have a Q&A session afterwards after each talk, okay? So, there are no other questions. I will hand over to Hannes from here.
Good evening. Can you hear me over here? Is it okay? Okay, I'll move closer. Okay, good. So first of all, thank you, Dan, for contacting me to come here and give a presentation. I work for a company called Here, located in Berlin, and we have on the other sides. My name is Hannes Kruppa. When Jan was still working for Here, I actually went closer to my original field, which is machine learning, and I worked in search, and worked on things like relevance optimization, entity extraction, as you mentioned. But since then, I've actually changed and focusing on a lot of broader topics, including asset tracking. One slide about here. So we're a dedicated location-based company with global reach. We have more than 6,500 people in 55 countries. I can tell you that making global maps is a colossal undertaking, and you see this also the number of employees. We produce maps for nearly 200 countries. We enable 80% of all in-car map systems in North America and Europe, which is another way to say that we work with all major car brands. And we enable, through our APIs and SDKs, mobile web and enterprise solutions for global industry leaders. This includes, for example, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook. So it's a pretty cool company. So let me start with the anatomy of an asset tracking solution. It's a slide that tells a little bit how we here think about asset tracking. So we think about asset tracking in these 4 layers. It starts here at the bottom, where you have positioning. This is any technology that gives you a coordinate. And you want this coordinate for the assets that you track, and you have a way to uniquely identify your assets. And this positioning capability should ideally not only be limited to outdoors, but maybe also include indoor positioning capabilities. And tracking really means that you track position over time, and that you're able to also store or retrieve location history of the assets. Then on top of that, you have some functions that process your coordinates. This can be, we call this triggers. The most popular trigger for geo-tracking is obviously geo-fencing, but there can be also more generalized triggers, which, according to some location-based business model. On top of this, you have a set of advanced location services. This can include things like routing or rendering assets on the map, for example. Or it could also be access to some search functionality that lets you search attributes of the map. Could be addresses or names of places. And on top of it all, there has to be a front end. A front end for a human to interact with, be it live or be it in some batch fashion. For example, analytics tools for geo-visualization, geo-analytics, and all of this serves one goal. We want to probably for your business maximize revenue, minimize your costs, so you're not just tracking for the sake of tracking. You want to use all the understanding that you generate in the to optimize your processes of your business. This is how generally in 4 layers we think about tracking solutions. Now, this is from developer.here.com. Go to developer.here.com and you will find a section with plans. One of those plans is called Mobile Asset Management APIs, and you can try them out for free. And this is the list of APIs, like it includes things like this. Map tiles, so you can render your assets on the map, and similar things that I've just mentioned. And no surprise, these services are falling nicely into those 4 layers, right? So on the positioning side here is offering network positioning capabilities. These are essentially APIs that translate a Wi-Fi or a cellular scan to a coordinate. You also have an API that helps your GPS or GLONASS or Chinese Beidou system with assistance data and an assistance data service. Note that if you wanted to use these, you will not be able to find them on the web page yet, but you can already ask and contact me, for example, and I can help you to get signed up for those services. On the trigger side, there is the so-called here geofencing extension product. Advanced location services, we have things like the map and satellite tiles. We also have specialized routing functions that are interesting for asset tracking. Truck routing knows everything about what trucks can do on the route. So if you ask for a route from A to B, it takes into account its trucks and certain sites can go on all roads and things like this. And on top of it, we have a very comprehensive analytics solution called Data Lens. I believe Data Lens also definitely work with screenshot. It's pretty cool. You will find this on developer.here.com that when you sign up for Data Lens, you not only have the REST APIs to render your data, visualize them, but you also have these JavaScript APIs. And you can, on the web page, click on these examples and it opens the JS fill. And you can modify the source code interactively and see the changes immediately, and it's a great way to learn about this powerful tool. The great thing about this geo data visualization tool is that it makes full use of the map data, which here owns and is of course an expert on. So this means that you have very easy access to filter your data based on available map attributes. You can aggregate statistics on neighborhood, because we have notions of neighborhoods, or on cities, or on districts, or countries, or continents, right? Or any other map attribute you can think of. Okay, and now I have a final section of my presentation, research and technology. First, me from all the what's out and sold and what is part of another product. Now I'm going to tell you a little story from research and technology. Stuff that we have been fiddling with. Another aspect of positioning is, of course, tracking assets is that you maybe want to use low-cost tracking devices, right? And these low-cost tracking devices might be very memory constrained, but we actually implemented positioning on a 32 kilobyte microcontroller, and which calls out to our REST API, uses here's positioning service, and we use this for auto tracking. So 32 kilobyte, that's maybe something that you find on a Fitbit wristband or so. So if you have a very cheap microcontroller device that has connectivity, for example, it has GSM connectivity or so, and maybe Wi-Fi or so, then you can already, with a Wi-Fi scan, use here's network positioning capabilities. Another thing we did is we took a $5 Wi-Fi module, very popular in the community. It's called ESP8266. You see it in Alibaba for much less than $5. I don't know what you can actually get, but that's another story. And you can also, if you have access to Wi-Fi, if you're interested in, let's say, Wi-Fi-based positioning, and you have a data connection at the same time to the Wi-Fi, you can use this module and you have a $5 tracker, $5 Wi-Fi cloud-based, network positioning-based device. Another thing what we did is we looked into battery efficiency. Maybe one insight here is, that's a lot of, how can I say, more powerful devices that are able to run Linux, really consuming the battery a lot. Usually we found you can get battery efficiency increased by a factor of 20 if you leave Linux. And there are various ways we tried in order to maximize battery performance. So with all of that, we started to track our snack cards in our office, which is a service in our office. It's running, I think, twice a day, every day in the week. And we wanted to provide our hungry employees with the means to see where the food is coming, so that they don't have to sit there starving, can either chase the cart or decide to seek out the cafeteria instead of the takes. So what's interesting there is that we collected a lot of data because we have been running this for more than half a year now. And this is based on a technology from here that uses Wi-Fi scanning or also Bluetooth signals to derive locations indoors. So here you see a floor plan of the 5th floor of our Berlin building. You can see where the trolley takes its route. When you have this, then you can, of course, collect the data over time, and you can, implement things like automated arrival notification, the estimated time of arrival, trajectory optimization, all of this. And you can do some fun location analytics, of course, as well on this data. So you can see where the card is actually running on the different floors. I don't know, maybe this is too small to read, but this is floor 6. These are the other floors here, floor 1. And you see that actually the, how can I say, likelihood of finding the snack trolley on these different floors is not uniform. In fact, it turns out that it sits a lot on 6th floor. Well, this is the usual data noise that you get. It's because it's parking there. This is where the cafeteria is. This is where the car is loaded. Yeah, if you know this, then this data makes sense. And the 7th floor, no one is actually working there anyways. There's one floor that makes me wonder for a floor isn't really getting a lot of attention from the snack trolley. Maybe this is because people don't have time to work there. I have to talk to some of those managers and see what's going on there. But this doesn't look healthy. And in summary, actually I already told you my presentation. So here's APIs provide many crucial ingredients needed for implementing asset tracking, from positioning all the way up to analytics. The product there is called DataLens. You can find all of this if you go to development. Here we come. Check out the mobile asset tracking plan, sign up for a free trial, and I think you have a 90-day trial period, and you can send up to 100,000 requests, so that's for free. Another thing I wanted to share is that most low-cost tracking hardware will work with these APIs as well. We've tried it out. Thank you.
Some questions? None of them? Okay, no, I have one. These other devices that you have shown, they are available also by the page, or how to get them?
The hardware devices are not available by the year page. We have looked into the maker community, for example, what type of hardware is popular there, and we've tried out a few, and I can tell you more also offline what type of hardware we found to be particularly well working.
Okay, thanks. So then everybody, there's a question.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi tracker, would it work only maximum to Wi-Fi network, or would it offline?
Yes, absolutely. So when you wanted to actually undertake this exercise and use this $5 Wi-Fi chip, Yes, the prerequisite is that you also have Wi-Fi access in the area that you want to track for connectivity. The other way to provide connectivity is to also add maybe a GSM module. So you have maybe GSM connectivity, you know, to access the service, and you use Wi-Fi just for scanning. But we have also used this $5 module for both scanning and for connectivity. It's possible to do that.
So it's its own Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. If you do this, then you are of course limited to connectivity, you know, where you have maybe when you are an authenticated user to this Wi-Fi. But you know, in an office environment like the snack trolley that I showed you, this is a completely realistic scenario. Right? We have Wi-Fi access in our office, so we can use one module to track the location and to be able to access the positioning APIs.
Any question? Okay. Thanks, Hannes.
Thank you.
Yeah, for the talk. I think our next speaker